Flossy was located about 200 miles south-southeast of Hilo, which experienced a magnitude 5.3 earthquake Monday evening. Schools, beaches, and parks were closed, as was the access road to the state's tallest peak, Mauna Kea.
I'm currently looking at the satellite view of Hawaii and the hurricane that's about to hit us.
Can you explain to us what's happening on the screen?
Well, this is Hawaii and this is the hurricane. Do you see this green and a little dot of red in there? The hurricane, and this is Hawaii. Currently we are around over here, so the hurricane has not yet hit us. Once the hurricane will hit us, it is actually category 3, it will cause most likely flash floods, very stormy winds of around 140 miles per hour if we get into the hurricane, but outside of that, gusts around 60 miles per hour. Here, this really red stuff is the eye of the storm. On Wednesday, it will continue moving onward into the other islands, which are forecasted to be 100% precipitation of thunderstorms. Hawaii will have 100% precipitation for rain every day, except Thursday and on.
So, here you are, Mosey the Great, in the middle of his daily breakfast preparation. He's using volcano-style potatoes, which are loaded with rich minerals such as sulfur and all kinds of other good stuff that come from those rich volcanic soils. He cuts them up real slicey according to this recipe that I found in the Working Parents Cookbook. After I cut it up, sprinkle with olive oil. Meanwhile, the oven is preheating. Sprinkle liberally with olive oil. I used to know an old Arab farmer in Israel who used to drink one entire cup of olive oil every day. He said this was really good for his health. So from then on, I really believe in olive oil. Here's the olive oil. Really healthy. Best kind of cooking. And then I use the sprinkler with Mrs. Dash seasoning, but Costco doesn't carry it anymore, so now I use this parsley patch garlic and herb. Not quite as good. But anyway, when the kids ask me what's on it, I tell them it's Mrs. Dash, because they're used to it. Okay, so we're getting ready to pop it in. As you know, we're expecting Hurricane Flossy to arrive here this afternoon. So Leilani is now filming the surroundings and me, so we can see what it's like at the beginning of the hurricane and talk a little bit about a hurricane. The hurricanes that come to Hawaii, which does not happen often, begin west of Mexico in the Pacific Ocean in tropical, very hot waters, and then they spin out towards the west. Usually pass considerably south of Hawaii, so we never even see them. The northwestern edge of the hurricane is just brushing the east coast of the Big Island, around the Ka'u'unalehu area. And the eye of the hurricane is about 80 miles south of Hawaii, so we will not see any of the strongest winds or rainfall. But we're still expected to get gusts of wind up to around 30 miles an hour, even though now it's perfectly calm. The hurricane at its center has winds in excess of 100 miles an hour. It's moving around 15 miles an hour, but the winds inside it move at a faster rate. And so at that rate, it's expected to arrive here this afternoon. So very gradually we're going to see the sun disappearing, the sky clouding over, and the winds are going to get really strong. We're going to rain, and this will continue for several hours until by tomorrow morning, hopefully, it'll be clear again.
So where is the hurricane strongest?
Well, there's this eye right at the center of the hurricane, which is perfectly calm and sunny. But around this eye is a wall, an area very intense, the most intense upward winds and upward circling winds. And that's where the hurricane winds are strongest. And then there's also very heavy rain all around that eye wall, coming down in bands, extending outwards. Those are called rain bands.
What are hurricane shutters exactly?
Well, there are these plywood boards. We use 1/2 inch plywood boards. We took 2 plywood boards of 4x8 at Home Depot and had them cut them up to make long strips for we have 2 windows, one in each bedroom. And they're each about 12 feet wide by about 2 feet tall. And so there's no glass on these windows, and we were concerned that the rain would get in and the whole house would get wet. So we got these shutters and we attached these latches. We attached latches every few feet, so we had a total of around 20 latches on the 2 shutters, and we had them overlap. We couldn't get one piece of wood that was 12 feet long, so we had to get 2 of them, and we overlapped them each other. And then we drilled holes in the window frames so we could latch the shutters and pop them into place when the hurricane arrives. And this will be something good even when the hurricane's over, anytime there's a strong rain coming from that direction, which happens occasionally, and it'll stop the clothes from getting wet. This may not be necessary, but it's just a precaution. You can see it advancing.
This is where I should be now. Days and nights falling by. Days